What up, guys? Nerd Scum here. Tomorrow's New Comic Book Day, and you know what that means. Dark Knight's Metal, #1, by Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, together again at last. Oh man, I'm so excited for this book, and I know you guys have been too. It is the first major event coming out of DC Rebirth, and not only that, it is Scott Snyder taking all the elements that he has established and set up in his run of Batman, all the little Easter eggs and things that he put there, and finally bringing them to fruition. Like, this is his overview, and there's actually a lot more going on that we'll get into towards the end of this review. There are two books that precede this. Dark Days The Forge and Dark Days The Casting, and those are really like preludes that kind of get you caught up to speed and kind of all the background information, but it all starts here. Alright guys, I can't wait, so let's dive in and take a look at this. Alright guys, as we get ready to dive in here, I have two things I need to say. I'm going to be going a little bit more in depth than usual, so there will be spoilers in the rest of this video. If you do not want spoilers for the plot and for the event as a whole, go out and pick it up now, and then come back and check the video out. Number two, I am really excited for this event. Having said that, the title, Metal, and this logo that looks like it was taken out of somebody's truck toolbox, along with the configuration doing the metal fist, it's silly. It's really, really silly. Especially for a story that's as dark as this story gets in places. But it's also a lot of fun, and we'll see that is something that continues as this book goes on. It's a consistent thing. These guys are having a lot of fun with this. So, we start with the same framing device as before, the Journal of Carter Hall, reestablishing the idea of the three tribes, and how in the Age of Stone they all lived as nomads who were pretty much peaceful amongst each other, until there was an introduction of a fourth tribe. And with this fourth tribe came darkness, and it brought on the Age of Metal. And there we jump to the Justice League, decked out in some crazy armor, which is designed to inhibit their powers. They've been brought here by Mongul, who has somehow escaped the people who are watching him, and has a revised version of his war world going on. So he's got them all decked out in this armor that I'm guessing Toyman here made for him. He asked Toyman what will be the next event, as the Justice League have pretty much dispatched all these alien creatures. And he says, I call it Fulcrum Abominus. Forgive me if that's not correct. However, so at that point, they release these giant robot creatures, each one designed to combat a different member of the Justice League. So this fight goes on, and it's pretty cool. Like, these robots are pretty awesome, even though we don't get a whole lot of really great shots of them because they're trying to do a whole lot. But at one point in this fight, Batman notices something. Inside the mouth of his big robot that's attacking him, there is a button, and he manages to push it. At which point, the machine starts spitting out all these cords and everything that pretty much encase him, and it starts to devour him. At which point, he tells everyone else not to help him, to in fact do the same thing he did. And they all do, and all of them begin to be basically strung up and pulled inside, very painfully pulled inside of these big robots. And that's when Batman reveals that the name was actually a hint that Toyman left. Toyman built in a way for them to win, and that the translation of the name of these robots actually means come together. As in, like, the Justice League trailer, or also as in Justice League Megazord, which is silly and ridiculous, and for those reasons, totally awesome. So awesome, in fact, that we don't actually see the end of this. It's just assumed, based on how awesome that is, that, yeah, that they totally got out of there with no problem. And then you get to the credits page, and on the credits page, you actually see how much fun they're having with this. Because, while again, the story's pretty serious in terms of the DC Universe and what it does. These guys are clearly having a lot of fun with this, and uh, it, unlike so many other people in comics, it just seems like they know that they have a great job to be able to play with these toys. And the way you know that is you look here, and they've given each of the people metal names. Metal. So yeah. Then the Justice League is headed back to Earth, and Alfred gets in touch with them. Or finally gets in touch with Batman. And he says, there's something in Gotham you have to see. And what it ends up being is this mountain appeared in the middle of Gotham, displacing all these buildings and just turning it to ruin. So basically they send Flash, and he starts looking around, trying to find a way in, and he finds a door. A door marked with the insignia of the Challengers of the Unknown. This is Challenger Mountain, the base of operations for the Challengers of the Unknown. And it just all of a sudden appeared in Gotham. So they go in, and after a bit of exploration, they come in contact with the frickin' Blackhawks. And this iteration of the Blackhawks is led by Hawkgirl, Hawkwoman, however you like it. But she's given up that mantle now to lead this variation of the Blackhawks. So they take the group of the Justice League back to Blackhawk Island, and they start telling them what's up, starting with Imp Metal, and how Carter had spent all his lives trying to discover the source behind it, where it comes from. They have this really cool thing where they actually go and they start talking, actually it's back here, they actually talk about this idea that was originally thought that matter and antimatter was everything that made up our universe, but recently scientists had discovered dark matter and dark energy, and also discovered that the majority of our universe is in fact made up of those things, which is really cool with how it parallels, like, not current, but with over the last couple of years, current scientific findings. But, so yeah, Carter Hall explored this, trying to determine the origin of it, and throughout the years, throughout his different lives, he recruited the original team-up of the Blackhawks. He had Starman. He had, I believe this is supposed to be Tio Morrow, the inventor of Red Tornado, and his whole family. Of course, you have the Challengers of the Unknown, man! And then, basically, she pulls out Grant Morrison's Map of the Multiverse from Multiversity. And she basically tells them about all of the worlds that are mapped. And but then this is actually where they start going into the idea of dark matter and how it relates to the dark universe. And then more so, as they're talking about it, they begin to say that there are all these prophecies about the dark universe, and that in many of these prophecies, it's foretold that there will be a person known as the Wagon who will come, who will be the one who will lead the path to the gate and open the gate. And it's revealed that in a modern translation, the Wagon is actually Wayne. Bruce Wayne, and this is all a trap. They've all been doing this just so they can get Batman. And once it's revealed that he is the person to open it, Red Tornado, who's been in a stasis tube or something, flips out and starts going nuts. But it's cool, because Green Lantern, despite the fact that him and Batman don't get along that well, he knows what's up. Batman's already gone. And he makes this crack about him having some high-tech means of escape, and Batman's just like riding a frickin' raptor. That's so dope. So yeah, Batman rides out of there, and then we pick up with the narration from Carter Hall's journal again. As it goes through, God, I can't wait for Dr. Fate to come back a little bit more, and then frickin' Plastic Man. At what point do we get Plastic Man back? Tell me. So yeah. From that point on, Bruce starts investigating the metal, and at the same time, he starts feeling this energy that was established earlier in the book. And he starts feeling this waves of it, very, very, very distinctly. And as he feels it, it leads him through his own home. And we see the narration, or not the narration, but the journal of Carter Hall also mirroring this, as he says that the Waynes were part of the Dark Tribe that broke off, and that he trusts them, and therefore he'd left his journal with all his information and all his answers in Wayne Manor, just in case he didn't come back from where he was going, which was he, Red Tornado, and the Challengers of the Unknown went into the Dark Universe to try to discover what was happening. And at the moment where Batman finds the book, He says, "Oh my God, it's all true. Yes, Batman." And we turn the page to reveal the frickin' Sandman. I'm not sure how I feel about this design of him. I'm much more familiar with Neil Gaiman's design, but and actually people have questioned me on if this is in fact him, but it says right there, "I am Dream of the Endless." The Endless being the people that Sandman comes from, and Dream being one of his many, many names. So yeah, guys, that is it. Dark Knight Metal #1. I really, really loved this frickin' book. It's silly in places and ridiculous and over the top, but that's just part of the fun of it. It's how you can tell these dark stories that are so classically Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo, but it has that extra added bit of a little bit lighter humor that's more akin to the way Rebirth is doing things. The balance of the two really works out really, really well. I'm also a real big fan of the way that Snyder's not only pulling in pieces from his Batman mythos, but also bringing in older things from the DC universe and cementing them in this new time. Right on, guys. That was Dark Knight's Metal #1. I really enjoyed this, and I'm really excited for the rest of the event. I'm really curious to see where it goes. Let me know what you guys thought about it down in the comments. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you're interested. If not, who cares? Nerd Scum, out.